Yo. What up? We here, baby. What's up? What up, Pyro? What's happening? We're live. Hey, your boy is struggling through these allergies, which have been kicking my ass all weekend. So my eyes look kind of crazy and all of that. But we here, we live. Happy Sunday. What's up? Pyro in the building. Mesbrick, what's up? It's been an entire week. Yeah, it's been a minute, man. But we're gonna vibe out, man. We got a lot to do on the agenda tonight. A little bonus weekend stream. If you're pulling up on the IG, what's up? You know how I like to do, man. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off like this. We're gonna do roll call in, man. Check in where you're from, city, state, country, wherever you're at. What's up? Fist, what up? Mia, what up? Chris, what's up? Nico, what up? 616 in the building. Lot to talk about. And we got some scary games to play a little later on tonight. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go and get this thing started. Check it out.
Yo, what's going on, man? This is Drizzy Drake.
Yo, it's your boy French Montana.
Hey, you guys, I'm the Harajuku Barbie, Nicki Minaj.
It's the Teflon Don, Ricky Rouse.
Hey, say what's happening, man? It's T.I.
Yo, what's up? This is Wale.
Yo, what up? It's Wiz Khalifa.
Yo, what's up? It's Jamie Foxx.
Now rocking with my near DJ MoonDawg.
DJ Moondawg.
DJ MoondDawg.
DJ Moondawg. DJ Moondawg.
DJ MoondDawg.
DJ Moondawg.
Get in tune, stupid.
All right, man. What y'all get into this weekend? What'd y'all do? Hopefully all is well. Checking in from Florida, New York in the building. South Kakalaki in the house. What's up? Brooklyn. BK in the building. Well, Lilith, how you doing, baby? I don't normally stream on the weekends, but I wanted to pop in, man. A couple of things to go through. Tonight, we're going to check out a new video. Is the child-free movement going too far? Something we talked about on prior live streams. A new video drop. We're going to take a look, react to it. Also, we're going to start the show talking about this. How many of y'all were trying to watch Love is Blind, the live reunion, only for this to turn into a complete L for Netflix? I just posted up a video on my second channel, The Mind of MoonDawg, on YouTube, talking about this in detail, how this is a major L for Netflix. Everyone was waiting for hours now to see what was going to happen with this live reunion show, and Netflix fumbled so bad. It got to the point where they just tweeted out right here, right now, to everyone who stayed up late, woke up early, gave up their Sunday afternoon. We are incredibly sorry for the Love is Blind live reunion. Did not turn out as we planned. We're filming it now and we'll have it on Netflix as soon as humanly possible. Again, thank you and sorry. And the greatest thing about this is, look at one of the first thing that pops up in the mentions is Pluto TV. Meanwhile, Pluto TV, it's free TV. Drop it and it's free. Watch 250 plus channels of free TV and thousands of on-demand movies and TV shows. Yikes. Blood is in the water. Listen, I said this, I'm gonna kind of like abbreviate what I said in my full video. Again, youtube.com/themindofmoondawg is my second channel where I talk about things more long form, and you can check it all out there. What Netflix did here was they tried to be something that they're not. Netflix is a video on demand service. They post up the videos and we as the audience go and watch it at our leisure when we want to. No issues right there. They drop a series, they drop an episode, they drop a movie. We go, we watch it. It's easy. It's maintainable. But when you do something like live streaming, when you enter the live streaming service space, it's an entirely different monster. And I get the idea of them trying to do something live so that it gets the engagement going, it gets the impressions going. This backfired so bad for them and makes them look so bad because live streaming is so difficult. Hey, I'm a live streamer. I run into technical issues all the time that gets me pissed off. Things don't happen, the internet don't work, this happens, that happens. It's part of live streaming. It took years for Twitch, who's a leader in the live streaming space, to get to a point where they have a reliable live stream, CDN, content delivery network. It's probably the most reliable it's ever been. You know, you can go there and watch any streamer for, you know, however long, and they can support millions of viewers at one time. Netflix ain't built for that. Netflix is not built for this. Netflix ruined my life tonight. Exactly. Bro, Netflix easily had 3 to 5 trending topics on them. Not Netflix. There was another one, Get It Together. There was a Love is Blind trend. I mean, people are legitimately pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's some people saying that you can get it to work, some say you can't, but my thing is, it's not working. I mean, I'm refreshing and it's not working for me. Right? Nothing going on. So Netflix fumbled so bad. Lilith, it's been a year. Put a ring on it, baby. What's up, Joanna? How you doing, love? Reekins in the house. What's up? Hey, also, we're going to dive into this video. And then really what we're going to do tonight, we're not going to do too much talking and reacting. We're going to get into some horror games. We've been long overdue. We got a couple of finish off. Resident Evil 4. It's going to be a Screamathon. I'm going to set the timer up. We're going to go as long as we need to. Which, by the way, if we're on... what's up, DF Dub? I think we're going to do the... should we stay on YouTube or go to Kick for that? What up, King? I'm pinning a comment in the IG side. I think we'll go to my after hours live stream channel, kick.com, djmoondawglive. Anything goes, unfiltered. It's going to be crazy. So make sure y'all follow me over there as well. Anyway, let's jump into today's video. We've got another one, a new one from Gen. I always screw up his name. All right, we got a new video from Gen. Is the child-free movement going too far? If you don't know what's going on here, in fact, I think I talked about it in a recent video. There is a growing trend amongst women, millennial women and Gen Z women, like the older end of the Gen Z spectrum of women that are all about not having kids. And while I'm all about, you know, people having their own freedom and choice to do whatever they want. They don't have a child. It's, hey, great. It's all good. But when we start looking at this from the macro perspective and looking at this growing movement of women that don't want to have children, this presents a existential threat to our species, right? If we're not having children, our birth rates are going to decline while our death rates, increase. This is exactly what's happening in Japan, and Japan is being looked at as a case study for all these other countries that are seeing declining birth rates as more and more people decide to not have children, and especially women that are deciding to not have children. They want to maintain their independence, want to be able to travel and live their life and not have the responsibility. I get it. I truly, truly do. But again, if we're looking at this from the top down macro view, this presents a very interesting situation for society. So let's jump into the video. Let's hear what you guys think about it.
Do you think you'll regret it if you never had kids?
No. I am not sure if I want this environment to my kids.
The idea of being pregnant just does not appeal to me.
If someone else is paying for the kids.
Not to mention easy access to birth control.
People are dying.
My bloodline ends with me.
America has declining birth rates. Why do you think this is happening? Because today there's 2 schools of thought.
The number of humans on Earth needs to go down, or it will be our downfall.
The planet cannot support more people.
Can our planet even sustain nearly 8 billion now and 10 billion by 2050?
How are we going to feed everybody, get water to everybody, provide power to everybody? How are we going to do this?
Or are we focusing on the wrong problem?
This is the most commonly misunderstood situation. What we face is population collapse.
The size of family shrinks precipitous, like below replacement. There's going to be a terrible shortage of young people.
And so are we headed towards decline and even worse, extinction? So I'm out here today, and the question
I mean, this is really interesting. I like how we set it up with the whole idea that on one side there's this argument that we can overpopulate the world, and I believe there is a number. I don't know what it is, but imagine where there's just too many people, you can't sustain life. That would be tragic. And it seems like this is the alternative, where if we don't have enough people, we collapse anyway. Because I mean, think about it. How as we get older, we become grandparents and elderly, who's like next up? Like, who's gonna take over and push things through and look after us when we're old? And so many questions about this.
I'm asking is, do you want kids?
I have kids, but if I didn't have a kid, I'd still want a kid. The only way we're gonna survive is to embrace being human. Just because we can do something, it doesn't mean we should. I already had kids.
Have you always wanted kids when you were growing up?
Yes.
Would you want your kids to have kids?
If it's right for them.
By the time I'm 35, I'll be old enough to kind of start being more mature at that point.
Do you know how many kids you want?
We'll do one adopted, one natural kid, natural birth. The first one I want to adopt to skip the first 5
Like
years.
a little trial run?
Yeah, trial run. Exactly.
Return it.
My man said he wants to skip the first 5 years. Honestly, the first 5 is, I would argue the first 5 is probably the most challenging when you have a child in terms of the amount of work you have to do, because obviously the first 3 years, let's say, you got to do everything for them, right? Wipe their butts, throw out the diapers, feed them. They can, and then that 3 to 5, they start to get a little bit more independent. They can start to do things a little bit more for themselves, potty trained, feed themselves a little bit better. After 5, it gets much easier as they are able to just be more independent. And so that burden lessens as far as hawking over them all the time. But them first 5 are, whew, a lot of work. You know what I mean? Ladies, can you understand? What's up, Andrea? How you doing, babe?
If you don't like it?
100%.
Oh, I don't know. That's a lot of money that I wouldn't be spending on myself.
I don't think I'm equipped to raise a child through all the, that things I can hardly deal with myself.
I like to go out a lot. I can only take care of one person.
I'm a musician, and so it's really hard for me to even think about caring for others at this time.
Do you eventually want to have kids at some age?
Maybe if someone else is paying for the kids.
What?
But it's your kid.
I need to do some healing before I impart any of those things I've gone through on another little human. It's not that I don't.
What's Macy Gray doing in this video? What's Macy Gray doing in here?
Emotional damage.
I'm playing.
Want kids. I'm a 39-year-old woman, and at this point,
Andrea said the older they get, you think it's harder? I think it gets more complicated older, because then they become teenagers and you got to watch out for them getting into riffraff with other kids. You got to worry about pregnancy, like teen pregnancy. I think it's different. But in terms of having to like watch over them 24/7, you alleviate that burden. So it frees you up to just be able to do a little bit more. You know what I mean? It's sad who can have, don't want. Yeah, there's that interesting point too, right? Where people that can have children choose not to, while people that want to can't. That's very interesting as well. Yeah.
point in my life, there's just still work I need to do, and it's just not really maybe in my cards.
Do you feel more free not having kids?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can travel whenever I want. I can spend my money all on me.
In my early 20s, I wanted kids really badly, but that was before I started having so much fun.
What's like a typical weekend look like for you?
Like
City
go to a
girl.
music festival or like an
City
event
girl.
or a house show.
Yeah, them kids, right?
That's
Do
crazy.
you want kids?
I think it's very selfish. Looking at the world and how it is right now, global warming and all that kind of stuff. I am not sure if I want this environment to my kids.
The climate, like climate change and everything, that has obviously gotten worse over our generation. So the problems we're facing nowadays aren't really the same that people were facing decades ago.
Because for the first time in history, people are questioning if it's even morally okay to have children.
Climate change is a big factor in why she's not having children.
We're not sure that we're going to have kids because we don't want to bring our kids into a world like this.
It is not okay to have children.
The lives of children are going to be very difficult.
And it's impacting everyone. The number of babies being born is inching closer and closer to 2.1 per woman, which is a replacement number that prevents the population from shrinking.
For the first time ever, there are more women without children at 30 than there are women with children.
So in short, people ain't having sex. And with some countries already facing the consequences, we must question the social...
Is it that they're not having sex, or is it that modern contraceptive and options, people are utilizing them more? I don't know. And this is something I probably have to dive into and see the numbers, but are people using condoms more? My initial thought is no. I mean, who really likes to use a condom, right? I mean, come on, let's be honest about it. The whole abortion thing, right? Are more women choosing to have abortions? That could play a factor into this. I don't think it's people are not having as much sex, although there's been enough studies that are saying that younger men definitely ain't getting none, which is like, wow, that's crazy. Don't forget, guys, if you're on IG, slide on over to my main YouTube channel, djmoondawglive. That's where I mostly stream at. Come follow, sub.
Implications of an increasingly isolated society. But is this all legit or just fear-mongering? Is the world even heading towards collapse or overpopulation, or both at the same time? And a matter of fact, do I even see myself starting a family? Like, I deadass still live out of a fucking suitcase. I guess we gon' see. And starting with America. America has declining birth rates. Why do you think this is happening?
In our parents' generation, most people got married younger, with women being caretaker, like cooking, watching your children, like being a stay-at-home mom, like that was your job. Nowadays, it's like women like to work. To be a stay-at-home mom, like you have to have money.
Honestly, everything was cheaper back.
Wait, it's also, guys, it's also very different. When we look back at that period when it was the dad going out, working the factory job, this might be some of our grandparents or great-grandparents, right? Let's be honest. And the wife was at home taking care of the home. It worked in a large part because, one, that was like the culture of the time. It was the norm. That's what you did. Also, you were able to do that with a one-income household. We live in a time now, let's be honest, most people can't survive off of one income, not like with a family. You know what I mean? So the wife and the woman, not only do women want to work, right? Obviously, right? There's that side of it, but take that away, like they have to too, if they're going to have this family and live together and have a home. It's just, we're in a very different time. Look at inflation, look at the cost of everything. Yo, it's crazy. The weather got warm here in Chicago last week. Before that, gas was like $3.20, whatever. It was in the low $3 range. That shit shot up to like $3.80, $4 something. If you're in the city of Chicago, you have to go out to the burbs to get a little bit lower gas prices. I mean, just think about how everything, they be running up the price on us for everything. You have to kind of work. So it's not conducive to having that old school, in all situations, it's not conducive to having that old school kind of a lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Then you could get a house for much cheaper. Everything was just more affordable. But also, I feel like a lot of people in this generation are trying to be successful on their own and creating these startups, which you really don't have.
You just said one income these days is tough. Much different times. Absolutely. Andrea said, takes two to work if you want nice things. I mean, there's that too. If you want to be able to like live and do certain things, yeah, you both got to kind of put in that work for it. You know what I mean?
Time to take care of a baby.
The declining of birth rates is people planning more their lives, their future, and their family life.
Why do you think this is happening to our country?
People are dying. I don't know. I went to dark places, I'm sorry. But I mean, like, I think people are maybe more career focused. Like, people are getting kids when they're older.
People are realizing, like, I have a future to have before I even have a family. I'm saving till I actually finish my goal, and then I'll have kids after that. You know,
That's interesting. Many people, I think, do have this thought process that I want to achieve these things in my personal life before I undertake having a child, which is all fine. But then it's so interesting. I hit 40 in October, right? I would never want to have a kid after 40, because then by the time they get to the teenage years, I'm old. Like, imagine trying to go play soccer together or play some sport with them. I'll be like, at 60 something years old or whatever. I mean, I pray that I'm gonna be in good shape and healthy, right? But just like as you get older, your body ain't gonna be able to handle it. So in one way, it's almost better to have a child a little bit younger. When I say younger, I'm talking about like, I think personally that sweet spot is in your between 25 and 30. I think is like the ideal space from a physical standpoint, because then when they get old enough, you're still capable and able to run around, and you know what I mean? Y'all feel what I'm saying? Mal said a lot of same-sex marriage relationships today. Well, I mean, that, you know what? That also plays a part into it. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we're talking about who can procreate. Well, we know biologically how that works. You know what I mean? Joanna said, I was a stay-at-home mom for a while till my kids was going to preschool. Yeah, I had that situation with my daughter's mother. Her first few years, you know what I mean? I'm on radio. I was making real good money. Like, you're just gonna take care of our daughter. That's it. That was the arrangement. She was cool with it. She enjoyed being home and spending those years with her. You know what I mean? Up until it got to a point where she was like preschool, and then she went back into the job and all that stuff. That worked for us. That was a compromise. It wasn't really a compromise. She wanted to do that anyway. And I wanted her to be there versus sending our baby off to some, daycare or whatever. Some people don't have that option and you have to do it. And don't even get me started on daycare be like the cost of a mortgage these days, bro. $1,400, $1,500, $1,600. It's wild.
be able to be financially stable enough to where my family is not suffering.
It's interesting too because it's not just America, but a lot of developed nations. Do you think then this is a sign of societal decline?
Absolutely, and we should be very alarmed.
Definitely, and good for us. I think some destruction is necessary for like things to grow into new places.
There's a lot of people who just want to go out and have fun, experience their lives. Parents will say, hey, don't have kids at my age, go out and have fun.
In order to provide a good life to your kids, it's expensive nowadays.
Do you think in America we're prioritizing more about getting the bag than rather than building like a strong family unit?
For some people, you got to get the bag first to build a strong family unit. For what some people want for their family, like, you got to be making money to have that.
It seems like the cost of having kids is a big factor. But hasn't this always been the case even during our parents' generation? Why do you think this is happening where my generation, like Gen Z and millennials, are having kids a lot later in life?
People are preferring to live their own lives, some selfish lives, with no kids, with no problems, with more money to spend with themselves.
I think that you're exposed to a lot more of what's going on.
Having kids means taking away from my freedom. What would you say to that as someone who's been a mother?
Oh, it definitely takes away from your freedom.
So did you ever regret it during that process?
No, I found it difficult at times. And sometimes, you know, you would daydream and like wonder like, ooh, what would life be like? But then there's like your kid, man. Like I have massive love for my girls.
So for them, it's like being in person, whereas like us, like social media, like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, we can connect more easily.
Do you think we're more connected though?
I think that maybe just like access to technology has just shown us like how much more there is out there.
And look, it seems paradoxical, but is this infinite access to potential options and technology the direct contributor to our falling birth rates?
When you're single, everyone's always like, hey, get on a dating app.
What's my #1 opening line on Tinder?
With a click of a button, dating apps presents you a pool of potential partners with an...
I've said this before, this is easily the biggest downfall in dating is this whole concept of using dating apps. It's so shit, man. I wish more people would stop using it.
Algorithm built to keep you addicted.
Especially men, because it's not built for us, bro. It does not favor men. More men need to stop using this shit.
To the promise of finding the one.
I just feel like that she's the one, you know what I'm saying? I FaceTime her a lot. Her personality really matched who I am.
Even with the seemingly equal and never before seen opportunity to find love while taking a shit, the outcomes have been far from equal. What they found with the Tinder economy is that the bottom 80% of men in terms of attractiveness are competing for the bottom 22% of women, and the top 78% of women are competing for the top 20% of men. And so for
you hear how bad that is? I mean, this is why this shit is so bad. The problem with social media and dating apps is giving everyone, I'm gonna say like this, I'm gonna keep it a buck. The vast majority of people here are fucking delusional, right? People have this impression that I can have whatever I want. That's leading people to think, chase after the top of the crop people from whatever side you're on, right? Whether you're male looking for female or female looking for male, everyone's shooting for the very top when, let's be honest, we have to be fucking honest here. We're not always capable of achieving that. We all have like a certain designation. It's just how it works, right? It's like this whole idea, if people had to rate themselves, what people rate themselves through their own eyes is going to be different than if I took 100 people. If I took 100 guys, I took 100 women, and I asked one of you what you thought about yourself. If I took one of you that's watching right now as a male, one that's a female, I said, what do you think you are? 1 to 10, fresh face, out the shower, just on your looks, just on this whole thing. Because when we date, we're basing that off the first impressions off the physical stuff, right? We're not talking about further in with personality, but just off the initial, looks. What people think they are versus what 100 other people, if you were to poll them and ask them, are fucking vastly different. And these dating apps are letting people believe that, oh, I could shoot my shot at this model type, or I could shoot my shot at this CEO executive guy. And it's like, they're out of your league. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people are single right now, because people feel like they can have something higher than where they're at. And it's just a reality of it. Are y'all following me? Disagree? Agree? I mean, what do y'all think? I appreciate that, Based. We in 4K with it. You feel me? Odds are stacked. True. Andrea, thank you for coming over from IG. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Ugly people stick to ugly people. That's brutal. No, but listen, it's just the reality of it. I've pulled up the video before of the test that showed that that's how we're wired. You know what I mean? It's true. Agree 100%. And so when people have this disillusion that, oh, I can have whoever I want, I can have this, and I'm gonna hold out because I want that 1%er, and they're missing out on all these other people that are in the range. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand why we've gotten to a point in society where people feel like that's necessarily a bad thing. There's good people. And I'd make the argument that if you chase after these top 1%ers, whether they're male or female, whatever, there's inherent issues that come with that. You always got to be on your guard because they're highly desired. That means you're always having to fend off other prospects. You have to do much more work to keep that 1%er focused on you, because at any given chance they could just veer off to someone else that comes along that's the new younger model version. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much to it. My man said I shoot my shot at anything that breathes. Sound like a real man to me. Sounds about right. I mean, that's a good 60% of the Western world, regardless of the topic. Social media and ridiculous a system of being too soft has caused a society based on delusion. I think a lot of it comes to is just that somewhere along this social media line, we've all told ourselves, I'm never going to settle. I deserve the best. I want the best. And it's precluding people from meeting nice people that are within their tier, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean? Lila said, I don't want much. I'm good with my 2 boyfriends. Stupid. What up, John? I think of myself as a 2 to some people and maybe a 1. All right. Let's continue.
Those at the top with options, there's a paradox of choice in dating where people are always searching to avoid committing to one person in fear of losing out on someone even better out there. Whereas for most men, it's a different reality.
Over the last decade, the number of men reporting no sex in the last year has tripled.
Compared to past generations who were getting jobs, having sex, getting married, and then having kids earlier, almost 1/3 of men under 30 today haven't had sex in the last year, haven't had sex at all.
I talked about this. I've covered this report in 2019 when they did the last time they did the study was when they did the recent one, but prior to that the one was in 2019. At that point, men under 30 that were remained single, weren't having sex or haven't had sex at all, was at about 50%. They did the study in 2022. It went up to 63. That's over 10% in a 2-year, 3-year period. While women in the 2019 report was at 24% and went up to a shocking 25%. So 1%, which is negligible. It's vastly different.
And with the rise of AI, not only is there genuine fear that automation will start replacing people's jobs, from truck drivers to even lawyers, it may even start replacing human companionship.
The whole point of a robot is that you can have a relationship with it.
I stopped seeing her as an it, and more as not a person, of course, but something more.
And so are we raising a generation of men who are risk averse and not developing the competencies required for adult responsibilities like starting a family?
I saw you and I thought you were, and I was wondering.
Oh, we watched this. Major L. No Riz.
Because are we at a point where adolescence is becoming an extension of childhood rather than the beginning of adulthood? Shut up, bro. Come on, I'm grown. And so it's important to consider that for every action, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. And so how is all this impacting women and ultimately the future of our population? Do you think people look down on being a mom today? The reason why I asked this is because you even prefaced this saying that you want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that's like a bad thing.
To be a stay-at-home mom, like, you have to have money. Unless your one partner is able to pull for the both of you and your family, like, you cannot be a stay-at-home mom.
I think a lot of people like glamorize motherhood, but then I think a lot of people have started dissing people who are mothers or who embrace motherhood. I don't know, I've been seeing like a lot of TikToks of people who, once they have children, it causes like stress in the marriage.
I don't know if you are on TikTok, but there's a whole thing with like the girl with like the list of like reasons why you should not have kids.
the best option for everyone, and I think people are just starting to realize that.
And in developed countries with greater access to education and birth control, there tend to be lower fertility and birth rates. And along with it, a shift where women now have the opportunity to prioritize their own careers and goals, unlike in underdeveloped countries where family and children are the traditional focus.
Yeah.
With that, it made me consider another perspective. Do you feel like the societal pressure to have kids is unfair?
I live in the LA bubble where a lot of people are doing similar things to what I'm doing. They're focusing on their career.
I'm curious, like in your immediate circle, how many of them have kids?
Oh, none.
Luckily, like all my family are just like, they know I'm going for my goals and they're not pressuring me, which is great. But I know some people get pressured.
I feel like women are kind of seen as like, that's your job, that's your responsibility. But I think a lot of times people forget that like our responsibility is just to kind of enjoy the life that we're living.
I don't say it's a responsibility. It's a gift, man. To bring life into this world truly is a gift that women only have. Now, it's 100% their decision and at their discretion whether or not they want to exercise and undertake that gift. But it is a gift, bro. You know what I mean? To bring life into this world, that is such a special thing.
For generations, adult femininity was most correlated with having children, and not having any was putting your individual needs above the country's. Even the Pope recently criticized couples that were having pets over children in response to the declining global birth rates.
E tante coppie non hanno dei figli perché non vogliono, ma hanno due cani, due gatti, si toglie umanità.
And so it's evident that both men and women now have different realities, priorities, and access. But is this what's contributing towards population collapse in many countries like America? Because for some countries, is it already too late?
Japan's Prime Minister Fumio.
We talked about this. Japan is at the forefront, and every other country's watching Japan because they are on the fast path to a collapse. It's bad over there in terms of their birth rate versus their death rate. It's so upside down. It's so bad.
Kishida.
China, the world's most populated country, is now experiencing population decline caused by the impact of their one-child policy that was implemented to control overpopulation.
China did have a one-child policy, but about 10 years ago they changed it to a two-child policy. Then a few years ago they changed it to a three-child policy. China's birth rate right now is 40% below replacement.
And with the economic impact that could result if low birth rates continue in these large economies, it becomes apparent why even traditionally isolationist countries like Japan are considering opening up their borders. And so I wanted to ask a Brazilian immigrant in America about immigration.
I mean, let me ask y'all this. I mean, I think the only way that governments could try to flip this around is that they subsidize pregnancies and births, right? So in other words, if you have a child, you get $50K or something. I think that's the only way that turns it around. It might lessen the blow to people if, for instance, government subsidizes and pays for your daycare. Otherwise, I don't even know. I mean, you can't obviously force people to have children. So how does that, what's going to be the answer here? How do we turn this around and get people to say, all right, I'm gonna have a child? A lot of it seems to be two things. One, Gen Z millennials want to live their best life, want to travel and do all these things and all that stuff. And two, a lot of people don't want that financial burden. So, maybe the government's again paying for some of this stuff to offset the cost that allows the parents to have, more money so they can do some traveling in between having the child. I don't know. What are you guys thinking about this? Fuji said there might be a correlation between low marriage rates and women choosing to not be 100% stay-at-home moms without a career. I'd be curious to dive into the data of that and find a correlation. Yeah, there's got to be some information out there. No marriage and being a stay-at-home mom can sometimes lead to a risk of not having the ability to care for yourself in a relationship. Doesn't work out, just stay thought. Yeah. All right, Lilith. The only reason America doesn't have that problem is because of immigration. It's interesting you mentioned that, John, because we're about to get into this immigration part, which I'm interested to see how that's going to play into this whole conversation. You know what I'm saying? Income inequality is really a huge part of the issue. Lack of social programs, etc. Look at Finland. It's the financial obligation burden. ESC helps, but all aren't eligible. Daycare assistance, the same thing. Yeah, they would have to do, in my mind, if they take care of daycare and some other initial costs, for like that first 2 years of diapers and formula, that could maybe sway people's thoughts into having a child. Subsidies and international immigration too. All right, Filthy, we're about to see. Don't forget, from IG coming over to the YouTube side, DJ MoonDawg Live.
Point to immigration as a solution when societies are having less kids. But do you think that also leads to further societal issues? Do you think that it brings more of a benefit or more of a detriment?
I think it brings both. Once they bring a lot of people from all over the world, they will need to reorganize themselves and respect their own laws and their own culture. But in a certain point, I do believe that immigration could be the problem to solve. And also family planning. It's crazy still that you see a family that is poor having 5 kids.
And so then, what's happening in these less developed countries? Underdeveloped countries like Angola and Chad have birth rates as high as 8 per woman in younger populations. But as the country gets richer, birth rates decline. Nigeria is a prime example. As their economy grew to the largest in Africa, its birth rates decreased. Not only does a growing economy change access to education and family planning, but also affords opportunities to shift attitudes towards marriage and family. And so this—
Wait, I think I got an idea. I think I know what it is. He just pointed out there's this correlation between countries that start to get developed and see economic growth from countries that don't have it and have more children. I think I know what it is. Check it out. As countries start growing economically, that means more and more people within that society are contributing to the economic growth. That means not only are the men, which are expected to be out here working all that, but as women enter the workforce and contribute to the growing economic and the GDP, yada, yada, yada. That's what's growing the economy. It's taking them away from the home. And then if you look at the opposite side of this for countries that are underdeveloped, that don't have that strong economic growth, well, what's your best form of security? Having a family, right? Because as you get older, you can rely on your children and your grandchildren to care and take care of you, right? You have this built-in familial system. I think I cracked the code. Does it make sense? Right? Because when you don't have a lot of money in the country, all you got is your family to rely on, to look out for each other, to support each other, for money, for food, to take care of each other. And the richer a country becomes, it's indicative of more of the people in the society, men and women, participating in the workforce, and that takes away from the home life. I think I solved it.
There's a tricky balance between having enough money to have kids and a general decline in desire to have kids as wealth increases. What does this tell us about society and what we truly value? Because when we look at these trends, what does it say about our priorities? Often, it's only in hindsight when we can realize what we truly value. Do you think you'll regret it if you never had kids?
I think a lot of times people have more feelings of like, I wish I would have waited. Maybe I would have thought things through more before having children, versus people who don't have them. I feel like they less of the time regret not having.
No, because honestly, in the past I've thought about it, and I also have a brother, talking to him about stuff, and we're just like, I think that it would be okay if we did not. You know what I mean? I feel like the world will be okay.
Yeah, I think it's something that naturally I'd want if I had more time. If I could still have kids at 60, 70, which maybe you might, there's probably women out there in general. I'm just thinking I'm probably gonna time out.
Would you be really sad if you didn't have kids?
Yes, I feel like I would. As a nanny, I feel like I've been around them for so long, so if I didn't have them, I would be kind of a little bit upset.
I'm kind of just hoping that I won't regret it, but I could also see how maybe when I become older, not having someone that's forced to take care of me.
Right. Because we changed a lot, right? I'm guessing you, when you started college, is a lot different than you are who you are today, right?
Totally, yes.
Yeah. Because I've also seen how my desire for wanting kids have changed as I've entered my mid-20s. Because for a long time, I didn't want kids. And call it getting older, but the biggest shift was how I started to view relationships. The Harvard study of adult development is the longest running study on happiness. And since 1938, it has tracked 268 initial participants and even their children's lives and well-being to see what made people happy. And what the study consistently found was that it wasn't money or status or the shiny car, but strong relationships with family, friends, and romantic partners that was crucial not only for happiness, but for health and even resiliency.
Bro, I'm gonna tell y'all this. I swear to God, I can attest to this as being factual, because listen, let's see. So I had my daughter in 2009, and I started my career in radio in 2009. They coincided together. So it was already challenging having a newborn and I breaking radio and all this stuff. What I will say is, during my time in the radio music industry, when I was on air doing all that stuff, I was always everywhere. Like, my career took me, and I didn't always get to spend as much time with my daughter. And then now, after that, after I left the industry or whatever, I have more time with her. Like, it's been a much more gratifying experience, way more gratifying to be able to spend time and do that. Yo, that's so true, bro. And the other thing too is, you know what I mean? There's also like this social aspect of what they talked about, which is, once you get old, if you have a child, generally speaking, it's more than likely they're going to help you out as you become elderly and look after you, bro. Imagine getting to a point where you're 70s and 80s and you don't have anybody to look after you. You're in a home by yourself with no one to check on you and care for you. You know, you're spending your holidays by yourself because you have no family, no children, no immediate family. You know what I mean? That's a scary proposition. I don't know that some people think about it from that perspective. You know what I mean? That's also an aspect of having children. I think is that it's like almost like a insurance policy to some regard. You know what I mean? The problem is that we continue to increase population within, say, 10 years, and a good 30% of the population will be unemployed because they won't need to be with the advancement of technology. That also points out an interesting dilemma, because as automation and AI is booming and taking off, it's going to put more people, or it's going to kill more jobs, and there's going to be a lot more people kind of unemployed. It's going to be interesting. It's so deep on all of this. So many different things factor into all of this. Might not be able to have kids till you end up sick and need some sort of caretaker support system. Exactly. That's that insurance policy, right? Like, you have someone to at least take care of you when you become elderly. Hey, my first daughter was born in 2009. Hey, so she's about 13 too. Agreed, Moon. The elderly care is definitely a part of the code. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Good relationships keep us happier and healthier.
So it made me think, does Western society's emphasis on individualism and personal achievement actually make us happier? Or
I'm telling you, I've been the happiest since 2020 when I exited on my radio career. I've been able to spend more time with family. Bro, there's nothing like, I'm telling you, there's nothing like you can go on trips, bro. I was fortunate enough. I'm gonna say it like this. I was fortunate enough that I experienced the world at an early age. I traveled the world. I've been on multiple continents, various countries, and I got to experience that. But at the end of the day, for me now, ain't nothing like getting together for a cookout, getting together for a little, whatever, having family and sitting down and conversing over, a whole spread of food for the holidays. You know what I mean? Like, it's something now that I think holds more meaning. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know. Maybe it's something that, now that I got to hit 40, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe not. I don't know.
Is the neglect of the family unit and values and disregard for others exactly what's making our lives more challenging? Do you think like having kids is a key to having like a fulfilled life?
Well, having kids is very, very good. I love my kids. I love having kids. The first baby when I was 18 years old. It was a very difficult parenthood. You can imagine how a kid going to college, experiencing a life of paternity. And so we went through.
Like for me, I think it's key to happiness. Like I said, they're gonna be a little fun, you know? They're gonna be annoying, of course, they're kids. I know I was annoying.
I was annoying too.
I don't think it's for everyone. It's a hard job, and so for some people, yes. But for some people, absolutely not.
Do you regret not having more kids?
No, had a perfect 2 girls, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what we often fail to see is that the solution is in the nuance. Just like the example of overpopulation versus the risk of collapse, it's only when we finally recognize the negative consequences of prioritizing one side over the other is when we can finally understand that 2 opposing things can coexist. And just like how I used to think that having a family would detract from my lifelong goals like building a media company, I now realize that it can actually be my biggest motivator to achieve that and even more. And it's when we decide to fearlessly navigate through the nuances of life to find what truly matters to us. That's what I call exploring the unfamiliar. And with that, thanks for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content where I turn street interviews into investigative journalism. And if YouTube...
Yo, Gen might be one of my favorite YouTubers right now on the come up. You know, I've been watching him now since he was just under 100K. He's broke over 100K. His video's been booming. It's really thoughtful. Here's the thing, man. I mean, he really kind of touches on it. There's just something special about the family aspect of it all. And I think while you're young, you want to just live your life, and that's fine. That's all good. I think it gets to a point though where people start getting to a point where they can financially and emotionally have a child, you know, start getting to late 20s, in their 30s, and then they don't want to have one. I think the proposition for that is scary for them, and I don't always know if they thought it through. You know, did you really think about you being 70, 75, 80? Who's going to look after you? Who's going to wheel you down, you know, wheel you around, or take you to your doctor appointments when you're not well? Your child would do that. In most cases, right? Assuming you have a decent relationship with your child, you know, family time is great time. It is. And it's not easy, but it is rewarding. You know what I mean? It's definitely rewarding. You know, I'm at awe at like how smart my daughter is at 13. And I'm like, damn. And to think you came out of my balls. Jesus. It's really incredible. It really, really is. Hopefully this child-free movement thing, it doesn't turn into a bigger, even bigger movement, because it can be very detrimental, not only for society, but I think people miss out. You know, if people look at it from the outside looking in, oh, you got to sacrifice this, you got to do all this work. It is, but maybe it's not communicated enough to people that are in this child-free movement that the love you get, bro, there's no love like the love for a child. It is stronger and more pure than even having love for another person, like your partner, right? It's a whole different type of love. Oh, completely different type of love. And maybe these aspects of having a child are not talked about enough, because listen, we're all frustrated. It's easy to go on social media and be like, oh my God, my kid's driving me up a wall today. And if you keep on seeing that, you're not hearing the other side about, yo, the love you got, how special it is to put them to sleep and you watch your child in bed sleeping. It's like watching an angel in bed. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole different experience. Whole different experience. Family time great is. I love going to family reunions. You know, I like doing like the immediate family thing. When it comes to like the expanded family, I'm like, all right, I got 2 in me for the year. You know, which ones you want me to show up at? You know, it gets to be a little extra. From a logical point of view, there's no benefits for the human race being larger than it already is, but there's a lot of benefits for it being smaller. That's true. There has to be a line though, because if it gets too small, then it collapses. The system collapses. Right? Is it if the rates drop down? That means the economic strength of all these countries are going to drop because there's just not enough people buying, consumers, and things are going to fall down. I don't know. Maybe if that happens, it's called the Great Reset. You know? What's up, Shot Moon? What about... see. So I'd argue as long as global population doesn't drop, say below 6 billion, be in a majority society. Damn right, I'll murder for my daughter. What's up, C's? Especially when I hug up and you say I love you, and that's the only person before. It's crazy when sometimes you need a hug and your other hug you. It's all worth the sacrifices. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So that's the cap on today's video. We got some horror games to play though. We're gonna do, I think we're gonna, let's see here. We gotta finish Resident Evil 4. We're gonna do a Screamathon. And I also got, I don't think we finished Dead Space. So I think we're gonna move over to the other channel. Let me see. I'm trying to pull it up real quick. Yeah. Go full cam real quick. Oh, don't forget, I put up a video on the MoonDawg channel for the whole Netflix debacle that went down. All right, let's close this. Should we do it here or should we go to Kick? All right, if you're on IG, I'm gonna kill the IG stream. Much love, y'all. If you're on IG, you want to come over, DJ MoondawG Live on YouTube is the main channel. Appreciate y'all for hanging. Party continues elsewhere, all right? How late you plan to go tonight? Well, it really depends on y'all. I'm gonna set up the Screamathon timer. All right, let's pull this up. Let me set this up before we kill the before I kill the YouTube side real quick. Hold up. Man, we definitely live in crazy times though, man. There's just so much. There's just so much going on. 1 second. Yup, there's the link, y'all. If you're not already following it. Let's go and do... Bro, it's actually, I just realized it's been a while since I played the damn game. We've been doing so much conversational stuff. 4. Almost there. All right, y'all. Head on over. We're live. Oh, shit. Did it stop? Wait, hold on. Maybe not yet. Hold on. Let me try and fix it. Make sure the stream is good. Hey, what y'all get into over the weekend? Anything good? All right, kick us up. Kick us up. We're good. We're good. We're good. Nada. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice on Saturday. That's when I'm also watching a load of shorts. Heading to bed. All right, Joanna. Good night. All right, cool. I was a Powder Ranger? What the hell is that? Oh Lord, were you on, you blowing some? Later, Joanne. All right, y'all, I'm gonna kill the YouTube side. Coming over to the Kick side, all right? Kick.com, djmoondawglive. All right, I'll see you there in a second.